What's up, SaaStr? I'm Melissa Rosenthal. I'm Chief Creative Officer at ClickUp, and this is Gaurav Agarwal, our Chief Growth Officer at ClickUp. And ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity platform that works for teams of 1 to teams of thousands, brings all of your work into one place, your tasks, docs, goals, and more, so you can work seamlessly across organizations and have unparalleled visibility. So, ClickUp has grown from 0 to 6 million users in only a few short years. How did we do that? By taking big bets, big risks, a ton of testing, and way more.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for sparing your afternoon and being here. Before we dive into the exact tactics and strategies that we took, it's really important for us to recap the state of the B2B SaaS. There's a lot going on right now, and let's begin with a few observations. So, if you look at what's happening in the B2B SaaS ecosystem, we are moving away from a CIO era to an end-user era. 2 decades ago, there was one central figure in any company that had all the IT budget. They would decide what software decisions to make. Then the focus shifted on functional software. Marketing software went through this phase of unbundling. There were very specific software for specific use cases. The VPs and the executives decided what softwares they wanted to use. And now what you see is the power is shifting to the end user. The bottoms-up movement is really strong, and it's actually allowing us to create billion-dollar companies that have not existed before. It's powered by a generational shift. By 2025, more than 50% of the labor force would be millennials and Gen Z. And if you look at how they decide and their behavior pattern, it's very different than the behavior patterns of the generations before them. They're very tech savvy, they're hands-on, they value flexibility. They do not like being sold to. The mechanisms that work with them are around pull versus push. And then the content channels have exploded. And these things, they all add up. If you look at Google Docs versus Microsoft Office, I was very surprised when I found this data. Google Docs have caught up to MS Office. This is primarily at the backs of millennial and Gen Z, and this trend is going to stay. So in the last decade, over 30 companies have been formed that have done more than $1 billion in ARR, and about half of them are product-led growth focused. What does that mean? They have built a bridge to the user and the buyer through digitally native strategies and formats. So we are at the precipice of what we all internally call consumerization of SaaS, and the tactics of the future would look very different than the tactics of the past.
And a lot of that really says that we need to talk like humans. Our entire brand has been built on changing our ability to view as a product and really humanizing it. And that's a lot of what we do with ClickUp. We really want to make sure that people are their most productive selves, that we're able to empower them to be faster, better, more productive, more collaborative, but at the same time, still find humor and joy in that process. And I think that's really differentiated in the way that we think about it. So how do we do that? Here's a little bit of the magic.
I think we're done writing this declaration. Is that the latest copy?
I swear it was just here.
Oh.
Fellas, relax. I created a ClickUp task.
Oh.
ClickUp.
Remember what it was like before ClickUp?
It's a much better way to work.
We made the business decision to switch to ClickUp.
The all-in-one engineering tool.
Clunky Jira.
Just popping in states Jira or ClickUp. I chose the latter. In with the new. You see this?
Are you an engineer suffering from the effects of Jira? Try a better tool, also known as ClickUp.
Returning to work.
As the head of sales, ClickUp has been a game changer for keeping all of our leads organized in one place. But, no, finger foods!
Hey, Reese, it's me. I don't know what to do.
Those first coworker interactions back in the office?
What do you want from me, Jared?
Not as easy.
elves, including the 22,542 working remote.
142, yep, that's right. And I got a bird's eye view of everything right here in ClickUp.
2, 1. Another task complete, another goal achieved. How many tasks has it been this year?
Well, this is the 11th celebration this week.
Wow.
I couldn't have done it without my amazing team. And ClickUp, of course.
There's one thing that everyone in the world needs.
It's man-made.
And it flies.
You can spend it,
And it runs out quick. You can buy it.
but you'll never have enough.
It's the only thing people have regrets about.
It's about time.
It's about time.
It's about time.
Behind every success story, there's a moment when your fate hangs in the balance. When It Clicked is a brand new original podcast from ClickUp. When It Clicked, coming soon to your favorite podcasting platform.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Level Up 2021.
You really have to make sure that the entire team is focused on one single goal.
Every baseball game is a project.
That's a lot of content, and that's a lot of SaaS right there. So when you produce such amazing content at scale, distributing that in a hyper-personalized manner is equally important. And as someone who comes from deep B2C experience, personalization is something that has been pioneered so well. There's a lot that we can learn from. It's beyond right message to the right audience at the right time. If you look at what's happening within the B2B circles right now, most of the segmentation and audience logic is built on rule-based segmentation. The problem with rule-based segmentation is there's just so much more data out there, especially if your product has a PLG motion. You should be using all of that product engagement data to personalize your product experience much better. So you need to think beyond what you're doing right now. Think like a Netflix or an Amazon. Look at how well do they recommend you products, and then follow their recommendations through the entire customer journey. It's not just about emails. Think of a time when you abandoned the cart on a shopping platform, and they followed you all across the internet with that exact product that you abandoned. And go beyond just a lead cycle. Look at the entire customer experience. And then at a point where they become lead, then you need to start personalizing the sales sequences. So really, full end-to-end personalization and thinking beyond rule-based segmentation.
And also, our mindset really needs to be that of a B2C company. When we think about the category we're in, we are in the second most competitive category next to CRM. So from day one, we needed to differentiate our brand and really understand how we could be bold and stand out. So a few things we did. We were able to run a large out-of-home campaign in all of the major tech markets. I call it the curiosity gap. We don't exactly explain what we do, but we make it big and bold enough that people have to pay attention to it. That's step one. The second thing that we were able to do is really create these semi-polarizing ads to go up against our competitors. Sure, it's something that's risky, it's super polarizing, but to stand out and to be differentiated, these are the risks that you need to take. Anything worth listening to can be polarizing. And the third thing, run a Super Bowl ad, of course, the holy grail. A lot of the stuff that we have done and that you'd seen previously have been that ladder up to building ourselves enough to be able to do that. And the other things that we do that are risky are, we aren't afraid to take jabs. Punch up against the 500-pound gorillas in the room. Be able to rent space in your mind, so then when people are making a decision, and we are top of mind in that consideration set. And that includes at one of our competitors' conferences, taking a clip of when they were speaking about us and remixing it and sharing it out with the world. We're able to have fun, be playful, and still sell our tool and our product in a really fun and meaningful way.
Melissa spoke about taking bets, right? And the truth is most bets will fail, but the ones that work will work really, really well. Always be testing. So what do I mean by that? If you're playing the guessing game, you'll have a few wins, but you would not be able to build a machine that is delivering wins after wins. And one thing that's different right now, that wasn't the case perhaps 10 years ago, 15 years ago, is again, the availability of sheer data. You do not have to invest $50 million in a big campaign and hope that sales will pick up. Almost every big program can be broken down into a series of incremental bets. And you have to begin with a lot of bets to then hone in on what's going to work. So internally at ClickUp, our focus is we need to be right 20% of the time. That means if you're right more than that, you're perhaps not making big enough bets. You're making very small bets. And if you're right less than that, then you perhaps need to get your business in order. What do I mean by that, right? In optimization techniques, there's this concept of global optima and local optima. What do I mean? It's very easy to circle around what you already know works and not make big bets. And if you don't make big bets, how will you take on the big giants that are in your areas of business? So you have to be climbing the right hill. And while you do that, constantly be finding for the next hill that is out there that you don't know about, but your competition is climbing. So at ClickUp, we test about 40+ experiments a week. We are on track to double that. And we take a full life cycle view of the experiments we run, because the entire funnel or the loop is more correlated than it's not.
And including the funnel and what just Gaurav just spoke about, a lot of what we do is we also try to up-level our social strategy. So we're thinking about running experiments across social every day, trying to reach new heights, trying to think outside the box, and what can we do? And the reality of social these days is on LinkedIn specifically, you are playing in a pool as a brand of 20% of all organic reach. What does that mean? 80% of the organic reach on LinkedIn, which are your target customers, is going to other people. So what does that look like? That means taking a strategic approach and building funnels where your executives, your teammates, your employees can act as those funnels, can be those thought leaders, can share out interesting clips about your product, interesting ways that they're operating, things that they're doing internally. Obviously, there's that building in public, but this is really building in public as a company scales. So being able to show that across many different people in many different departments, all leading back to your brand, is the ultimate way to grow funnel on social. It's not just about the brand handle anymore. It's very much about people and empowering those people to do that. How do you do that? You have to really create a machine to be able to do it. Just like Gaurav mentioned, we're constantly testing. We're testing different video concepts, different styles, different types of content, but this is a huge lever of growth for anyone, and it's a great way to start thinking about social, not just on a brand perspective. Another big piece is community. When you think about a crowded marketplace and you think about competitive categories, what moats do you actually have? Tech is completely democratized. Feature parity is pretty common. So your moat is your community. These are the people that are going to be championing you, shouting from the rooftops, talking to other people. These are the people that you need to advocate for, you need to talk to, you need to treat like real people. So going back to that, be a human, that applies itself to your community. Just setting up a group is great. A lot of people do that, community ambassador groups. We have one too. But it's going and taking that a step beyond that. What are the small things you can do on a daily basis that really speak to your users, that will get them to that level where they're empowered enough to talk about you in market? It's really important. Here's an example of something we did. One of our users was having a bad day. We took a notebook and we wrote her an empowered piece of content, and we sent it to her personally. We have our verified program. We have people constantly challenging themselves to become a part of our brand and become an ambassador on social and on Twitter. We really champion and care about our community and our moat, and I think that's really something that you need to think about as you grow, because that's the one thing that's going to last beyond paid ads. Paid ads, it's, at the end of the day, it's kind of a race to the bottom at the end, and you really need to be thinking about these things that are going to be able to allow you to grow and scale outside of just spending paid advertising, and we're both aware of that, and that's what we do every day at ClickUp by testing. So some key takeaways: talk like a human. Think about your audience. Make sure that you're actually giving them joy and creating content that resonates with them. They can learn about your features. They can learn about use cases, the product. But why don't you entertain them along the way? Be human. It shines through. Think like a B2C company. Take big bets, big risks, punch up against your competitors. Be able to create things that are so differentiated and special and unique that they rent mind space in their target audience. It's really important to do that. Prioritize personalization, up-level your social strategy, and really think about how do you continue testing, optimizing, and making content the best that it can be moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.